Northeast Ohio's #1 choice for news. Cleveland's own Fox 8 News starts now.
A live look now at Public Square tonight, which sits empty with downtown Cleveland under a strict curfew for the second straight night. Tonight's curfew was set to expire at 8 tomorrow morning, but just earlier tonight, the city of Cleveland has now extended that curfew through 8 p.m. on Tuesday night, June 2nd. Thank you for staying with us for Fox 8 News at 10. Once again, the city of Cleveland has extended its curfew order for another 36 hours. The curfew covering downtown has now been extended to include parts of Ohio City. And rather than expiring, as we said, at 8 tomorrow morning, it's been extended until 8 p.m. Tuesday night. No pedestrian or vehicle traffic is allowed in downtown Cleveland or in the city's central business district, which stretches from the Port of Cleveland on the near west side, east past Cleveland State University, and then towards the Asia Town Center. And new tonight, the city not only extended the curfew hours, it is also expanding the area under curfew to include parts of Ohio City along the Superior Viaduct and south down West 25th Street to Lorraine Avenue. Now, Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson and Cleveland Police Chief Kelvin Williams held a press conference just moments ago. First, you will hear the mayor talk about responding to concerns that was the city ready for the tactics protesters used, and one business owner who said the city had failed owners. But first, you'll hear Chief Williams addressing the curfew.
And the city never fails its citizens or its businesses. We do what we do, and we do what we do well. And when this occurred, it is occurring all over this country. And when you look at Cleveland and you compare Cleveland to other cities, you will find that Cleveland is handling this in a way that may be a little different than other cities, but the outcome that we're having so far is a much better outcome.
We're telling folks, stay out of those areas, please. We don't want you to get caught up in anything that's happening in those areas. We will take swift and decisive enforcement action in those areas and throughout the city.
What you saw at the bottom of your screen was right. I was wrong. That was the chief last and the mayor first there. Skyfox flew high over the curfew zone today as Ohio State troopers used their patrol cars to block entrances and exit ramps from I-90 in and around downtown Cleveland. Now, of course, the riot left many downtown businesses in shambles, but the owners of a popular bakery protected their business from looters by arming themselves. Fox 8 News reporter Jack Shea has the story and the reaction from the owners of Corbo's Bakery.
What started as a peaceful demonstration in downtown Cleveland protesting the death of George Floyd turns violent. Those intent on turning the protest into a riot go block by block, systematically smashing windows and looting stores, restaurants, and bars. But when they got to Corbo's Bakery on Euclid Avenue, they met with resistance. After protesters tried to force their way in with bats and other weapons, owner Joe Corbo and his two sons, Joe Jr. and John, armed themselves with guns and told the rioters that they would not allow them inside the bakery.
Look, we don't want any trouble. We don't want you guys in here damaging our property. We're just protecting our business. And truthfully, I would say maybe 80% of them understood. They left us alone and kept walking. And then there was like that 20% that just were accusing us of things and crazy things that just weren't true.
The protesters apparently took note of the weapons and the determination of the Corbo family to protect their bakery and decided to move on to other businesses, but not before breaking out a large window at Corbo's.
It's just sickening. I can't even put it into words. It's just awful. I mean, I can't even believe it. I thought we were done with that kind of stuff, years and years ago. I thought Cleveland moved forward.
All across downtown, owners of iconic Cleveland businesses like Carl's Inn of the Barristers are picking up the pieces and trying to save whatever is left. Work crews spent the day making repairs at Carl's. The owner says the rioters smashed out every one of his windows and then looted food and liquor from the restaurant, which has been a meeting place for downtown Clevelanders and the legal community for decades.
It's sickening. It's sick to my stomach. I couldn't even sleep. I couldn't come down. I want to come down last night. They wouldn't let me come down. Said you can't. You can't come to your own business. It's pretty sad.
Carl Abu Nader says he and many other downtown business owners support the right of the protesters to voice their anger. But he believes the rioters had a different agenda.
Terrible. I feel bad for the George Floyd family. Offer my condolences and everything. But we have nothing to do with this. They destroyed our place.
Jack Shea, Fox 8 News in Cleveland.
And the cleanup has only just begun for businesses damaged during yesterday's protests here in Cleveland. The massive cleanup got underway the moment an overnight curfew for Cleveland's downtown business district was lifted at 8 this morning. And before the new one began, people from across Northeast Ohio filled Euclid Avenue, East 4th Street, and Public Square, holding brooms, rakes, and shovels to clean up massive piles of broken glass and debris. Down in our state capitol, it is the 4th straight day protesters have gathered outside of the State House. They're asking for justice now following the death of George Floyd in police custody in Minneapolis. Columbus has enacted a citywide curfew from 10 at night until 6 in the morning until further notice. Police arrested 59 people yesterday after the second night of protests turned violent. Anyone outside without authorization during the curfew window can be arrested. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine also activated the Ohio National Guard in Columbus as well as here in Cleveland. Another Ohio city is under a curfew in light of all of the recent protests. In Cincinnati, several fires damaged buildings, as you can see. Thankfully, an officer wasn't hurt when his helmet was hit by a bullet early this morning. The third day of protests in Cincinnati. The officer was working to disperse a crowd near the University of Cincinnati when several shots rang out. Sunday was the 6th day of protests in response to the death of George Floyd. In some major cities, daytime demonstrations remained peaceful. Others have announced nighttime curfews in the hopes of a quieter evening. Daryl Forges reports tonight from Minneapolis.
We just want justice for George Floyd.
Demonstrators trying to keep the focus on George Floyd.
We have to call for more serious charges. That's the bottom line here.
And the issue surrounding his death in Minneapolis police custody.
The fatigue and the fact that we as African Americans are tired and frustrated of the treatment of white police officers in this country.
Officials across the country expressed their hopes for a quieter night. In Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti said those who engage in destruction and vandalism Saturday need to stop.
They have not just caused chaos and damage. They are hijacking a moment and a movement and changing the conversation.
Cities from Atlanta to Miami to San Francisco have Sunday night curfews. That includes Chicago, where Mayor Lori Lightfoot urged against the violence of Saturday night.
Think about tomorrow for you, for your families, for your loved ones, and for your city.
Illinois and Minnesota are among states that have activated the National Guard to help respond to the unrest. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, I'm Daryl Forges.
And new tonight, a driver is in custody in Minneapolis after a frightening scene caught on camera as he drove a truck straight through a crowd of protesters. Look at this. Thousands of demonstrators were peacefully protesting on a bridge earlier today. Some were reportedly kneeling. According to the Minnesota Department of Public Safety, a tanker truck then sped through the crowd. This video shows demonstrators stopping the truck and removing the driver. The department says no protesters were seriously hurt, but the person behind the wheel has been getting arrested after the fact here, as you can see. Well, once again, Cleveland's curfew order has been extended until 8 on Tuesday, June 2nd, and we are just one of at least 20 major cities under lockdown tonight. This map shows the curfews currently in effect across the nation, from Miami to Seattle and everywhere in between. Here in Ohio, as we just mentioned, both Columbus and Cincinnati are also under curfews tonight. Of course, this all started in Minneapolis, where curfew orders have done little to curtail the demonstrations there. Still ahead, he and his deputies weren't afraid to walk the walk. Coming up, see the inspiring video of the moment one sheriff took off his riot gear, listened to demonstrators' pleas, and didn't hesitate to take the first step. Beth.
Bill, have you been outside? It is chilly out there. We're 11 degrees cooler than we were yesterday at this point. Tomorrow we warm things up, but we only made it to 58 today. How high do we go? Well, let me tell you, the 80s are coming back. I'll let you know when they arrive just ahead.
Fox 8 News in high definition is brought to you by the Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
Finally tonight, amid images of burning buildings, broken glass, and violent clashes between police and protesters, one sheriff is trying to unite his community with a moving gesture.
I took my helmet off and laid the batons down. Yeah. I want to make this a parade, not a protest. Come on. You tell us what you need to do. Walk with us. 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 Let's walk with us. Let's walk with us.
That is Sheriff Chris Chris Swanson from Genesee County, Michigan. He and his deputies responded to the protests in the city of Flint, where Sheriff Swanson decided to join them and walk a mile in their footsteps.
And we can't forget, on all our police cars across the nation, it says protect and serve. Yes. Protect and serve. That means all people. That means all people deserve the same dignity, and you can't call out what's wrong and try to make it right. And that's the magic we saw tonight. And we marched, not 1 ounce of damage. Nobody's arrested. Nobody got hurt. This is the way it's supposed to be.
Sheriff Swanson's office has not responded to requests for comment yet, but clearly in this case, his words and actions speak volumes. Yes, they do. A quick final look at our weather now from Beth.
Lots of sunshine coming your way from end to end. A little frosty start out there, but Bill will make it into the low 70s. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous.
All right. Thank you very much, Beth. Sheriff Swanson is a great note to end on. Perhaps we give the last word tonight to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man who knew a lot about peace and change. Among his many sayings, he said that nonviolence is a sword that heals. That's all the time we have for Fox 8 News at 10. Be sure to join the morning crew. They will be here at 4. Stay safe. Thank you for joining us, and good night.